Welcome to April, No Bones About It, April edition. Say
Hands
hi,
up!
Reese's Pieces.
Hands up, playing a song. What's going on there?
Fly away.
Facebook. It's been a month.
It has.
Still working on the gray. It's been a great month, I think.
I think it's been a great month.
Of course, I can't get my tongue to work right.
A lot has been going on.
Yeah, you
on,
got
on both sides of the spectrum.
We've had a good month. Couple of hiccups in life as you get older. But what are you gonna do?
Well, you
know what I'm saying?
It's standard. There's every hiccup now and then.
Yeah, I had to bust out a really old shirt that I got in Texas on the way back from somewhere.
I know.
This is an old one because Paige Beckers is going to the Dallas Wings. Yay! She's getting ready for some Tex-Mex. And Reese got a haircut.
You can't tell now.
Yeah, he got a haircut, and you could see his eyes. I don't know if last month, I don't think you could see his eyes. He's going to want to come see me because I was on a phone call for a little bit, and he missed me.
You were gone for so long.
Yeah,
Feels like a lifetime for
his
him.
hair grew another inch. But what's going on? So yeah, I got Texas. Paige Beckers, #1.
Immediately, as soon as the first team came out for the draft and they picked, it was immediately Paige Beckers. No one else went before her. She was the first pick.
Yeah, the first. She went #1 to Dallas. Man, they're going to have a great team this year.
And didn't you say, because I actually had to, I was curious about this, so I had to ask you because you're more in tune with how all that works.
Say hi.
Say hi, Reese Peace. Say hello. Say hello.
What do you need to know?
I was saying, I had to ask you what
hit
you
me
call
right
it.
in the teeth.
He's gonna do the headbutt.
Yeah, I know. The push-off. You may have to go downstairs.
I was gonna say.
He's getting a little wild. Say hi to everybody. Can you see
hi.
yourself?
Say
hello.
Hi, Facebook.
See right here. Look, right there.
Say hi.
See?
Say hi.
Say hi,
You're
Reese.
on camera.
Yeah,
Everyone can see what you're doing.
We were just outside, and I'm like, look at the robin. I'm pointing at the bird.
Well, it's like today when we were out getting
potty
lunch.
training them outside.
Yeah, that was like when we were going out to get lunch today, and I was waving out the window, and he's
totally clueless. Could care less about anything going on in the vicinity.
I was saying I was a little curious because my whole thing is if you're going to the draft, if you're guaranteed to get picked, and you informed me, in fact, you debunked that you're not guaranteed a spot if you go.
No.
It's basically like an awards show where
you kind of know. You have to kind of whatchamacallit. They kind of know in advance. If you're a really good player, you got good stats, you got good behavior, you have good things. One of the girls, she thought...
I was just going to say that you told me one of the girls was there she's been playing college basketball for 7 years.
Right.
And she went to the draft. Yeah. And you told me because of her poor attitude
because of her behavior and history.
She was not drafted.
She was not drafted. And, and it's goes to show you that you have to, it's a whole... It's amazing to watch... The UConn kids, basketball is one thing, like to play basketball.
Yes.
But the program in itself, how Paige has said, they all have really, that it takes a village, which it does. It's not just Gino or Chris. It's, it's a whole bunch of people that really, really tailor these young women to be able to, be on camera. They're very knowledgeable about things, very gracious. Paige is very, she got a lot of faith behind her. I like that,
Yeah, I do as well.
That, she counts her blessings, so to speak, and you should.
More so it's because she's younger than I am.
Yeah.
If any of you can imagine that
it's
there's someone younger than I am. Yeah, no, 25. Yay! But I think I think the angle you're coming at for is you mean that it's nice to see someone who's young, who's like spiritual and of faith as she is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of kids nowadays, I should say, could give. They could give a crap about.
Well, I think
it's overlooked.
They're well polished. You know, it's like I said to you, you know, in certain, in high schools and stuff like that, there are a lot of classes that aren't taught that should be taught. And one of that would be communication. Because of social media. Nobody communicates with each other.
True
and
that.
these kids are able to get right in front of, you know, Holly Rowe comes up, you know, and that's all part of the coaching thing. They learn that. They learn that in class. They learn that in school. You know, they have an education behind them as well. As many millions of dollars. It was great because not only did Paige go, but Chen and Griffin went as well. Gino, I can't even imagine. You know, at 71, right?
Yes.
And he's had a dynasty of stars, okay? That
He's 12 times he's won
you know what I mean?
NCAA.
That, you know, for him, like he said, it's not really about me anymore. It's about, you know, these kids having that experience of, you know, being able to know what it's like to be a national champion. These are a real pain in the ass tonight.
I know.
Why?
What's going on?
You want to go over here?
Do you want to go over here? Do you want me to hold you now?
You know? Stay with your father. Jeez Louise.
But you have to.
What a pain in the keister, mister.
Have to calm down.
You know?
Little
But,
mister.
yeah, so it's nice to see. Come on in. I'm hogging the toboggan again. Really?
He
Should we
had
shut the door and let him walk?
had
You
a
hate
couple
that.
cents to. I just can't trust him with all the wires.
You want to go in the kennel? You're not gonna like that, you know. But yeah, no, it was nice to. You want to go put him in the kennel?
Yeah, I'll go. Put
Okay,
him.
go ahead.
Come on. Say bye
I'll
on
talk-
Facebook.
Say bye.
Bye.
He used to be good on camera, not so much anymore. Can you get by me?
Yes, I can.
Hang on a
squeeze
second. Technical difficulties. Here we go. He'll be right back and we'll be able to chat. The dog will be, the dog will be fine. He'll be in the kennel. But yeah, he's learning how to potty train. You know, we started him on the pee pads. Now he's on to trying to go outside. And you know what happens nowadays? The weather's nice. It was nice today. Everybody and their uncle is outside and the dog don't want to do nothing but watch everybody outside. It's like, do your business. He doesn't want to. And then I was on the phone for a little bit, so he's a little squirrely. But I am very excited for the Yukon girls. I'm very excited for women's sports with everything, just to see the amount of fan base that came out. It's amazing how much the sport and sports, period, have grown.
I'm back.
Here he comes. Is he barking in the kennel yet?
No.
Oh, no, you
Not
can
yet.
come in yet. That ought to
Nah,
drive
nah.
your grandmother absolutely batty. That's all right. But yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for women. I think it's a great thing. We didn't have that opportunity back in the day. I have a big project coming up at the end of next week.
Next Friday.
Yeah, which I'll be able to talk about next month. I thought we'd be able to do it this month, but it didn't fall into place like we thought it would.
It's okay.
But you're all
It'll fall after Mother's Day.
you're pretty much all set. But I don't know if
did.
you want to share or if you want to wait.
Should I share the specifics? Do you
It's
think I
totally
should?
yeah. Go ahead. Why
Okay.
not? You're done.
So was it last Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Today's the 18th.
Yeah.
No, last Thursday. Last Thursday I went because I thought it was a Friday. Last Thursday I went and I officially got headshots taken for the new year, for a portfolio, for the website, for all kinds of business, anything business related, website, business cards, anything where you'll be seeing Tyrannosaurus Studios. You will also see my face and the new headshots that I got taken, and it was a fun experience. It was.
You said
it
you
was a
feel
cool
it.
time.
Well, it's not just. I mean, you've had a lot of headshots. You've had headshots since you were 8 years old. So you've
have.
had a lot of different styles, I
Yes.
guess we could say. This was quite unique in that you said it was like you're on the red carpet.
It
and
did.
You really
It
enjoyed it.
did. It was,
had a different vibe.
Oh, thanks, Craig.
Hi, Craig. Mr. Mexico. I love him.
He's awesome. Lots
Yeah,
of
he
love
is.
to you, Craig.
I could just listen to him all day because he's been through a world of shit, and it goes to show you that you just keep plugging along.
Yeah.
I've been through a lot of crap too, but I look up to like somebody like him who's been through it. Yes. And can still have a positive attitude, still driving every day, encourage other people to, you know, keeps himself in check. Doing 75 hard, you know, you have to really go about
every single day,
and you have
no matter
to.
What it is,
it's you. It's you. So if you mess up, you can very easily say, "Oh, I'm on day 11," even though I sucked at day 10. No, you got to go back to day 1 and start it all over again.
Right.
And you know, he's on the I think the second round. He says, I messed up one day. It sucks when you get to like really towards the end, and then you like, let's say you mess up on day like 69 or something like that.
Yes.
That was a bad number to choose, but nonetheless. And then you got to go all the way back to number 1. Yeah. So, hi, Craig. I'm making you cry.
I hope in a good way. Yeah. I hope in a good way, not in a bad way.
I hope it's not my face.
I was saying about
go ahead, about your headshots.
It did kind of feel that way. It felt because as everyone probably here well knows, we're all our very worst critics when it comes to something that we may do or some ways that we look. Especially like one of those, the age-old story of when you take your own picture, it's not as bad. But if somebody else takes your picture, I'm like, ugh! I look terrible. Like it's always when someone else takes your picture.
Yeah, but you take a good picture.
But whatchamacallit? I
got a face for radio.
It felt pretty empowering is the best way that I can say it. I did say it did feel like it was. I could see myself standing on the red carpet with the camera, which is pretty high tech stuff. Carissa Van Tassel is who I worked with. She's actually in New Haven, so anyone who's in the Connecticut, New Haven area. Carissa Van Tassel, she's a fantastic, and award-winning, as a matter of fact, an award-winning photographer. Very nice, very down-to-earth.
Yeah, I can't wait to see.
She walks you through the whole process.
I can't wait to see your shots.
Nothing is. I'm very excited to see.
When is that? When's the viewing?
I'm not sure. And I'm not
she
sure.
She said she'd touch base
with
you when she was ready?
She let me know when things are, because she had a couple things this past week that she would be getting back to them towards the end of this week. So
yeah, that's exciting.
But very, very excited. And it was, like I was saying, it was very empowering because I think of myself, I'm like, I look like a total nerd. I look like a goofball and like someone that you can't really take seriously. So it was, what I liked especially was we had 2 types of sessions that we took. Mm-hmm. There was, it was regular lighting and allowed for a lot of, there was I think it was a pin light, she called it in the back. I may be calling that wrong. But there was a pin light that she had behind me of green, because green everywhere.
Green. Yeah.
And it was more so well lit and more so of who I was and very goofy and funny and pretending that I was talking into the microphone and doing a lot of just being myself. And then there was another set exclusively that was set up for dramatic lighting that was more serious and more like not as smiley, more so of like you're a model on getting their picture taken for a magazine cover.
That's cool.
That kind of lighting.
Yeah, I like it.
And I was excited for that one, and I think that those are my favorite from what I could see. I couldn't wear my glasses because when we were starting off, she took a picture and she took a look at one picture that she had taken when I had my glasses on. She's like, do your lenses, do they change in the light? And I said, yes, they do. And she said, that might be a problem because we want to see your eyes. So I had to go without my glasses.
Which is hard because most people know you with your glasses on.
Yes, I know.
You know, I mean, same thing with me.
Do I look terrible without my glasses?
No, but your eye. I think anybody's eyes pop. Said my wrinkles, but nonetheless, your eyes pop with the glasses off, so I totally get it. So you be using those images for promotional stuff?
Yes, and reels that I have, and business cards, and the works of Tyrannosaurus Studios. You'll see them all over the place for the new year. And what was I going to say? I want to reiterate, the dramatic lighting pictures were definitely my favorites from what I could see, because again, I had to go without my glasses for the photo shoot. Just because it was myself in no pun intended, a whole new light where I was like, wow, to think that I can look professional, and I can look like these other actors and performers that I see all the time and
Yeah,
I've
of
watched.
course. Well, they have the teams behind them.
But it's just like I look at myself in the mirror a lot of the time, and I'm just like, I look like a mess, or I look like a loser or a goofball.
I find I look very good in dim
empowering.
lighting.
Well,
dim, really dim lighting. I look really good.
Be kind to
like
yourself,
a candle,
huh?
like a candle.
Oh, thanks, Craig. Thanks, Craig.
What did he say? I can't see shit.
He said I look great without
you
glasses.
do though. Well, you have nice eyes. But you would do it again.
I would.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, that's good. You had a great experience because that's not for everybody, so to speak. You know.
No, I know. A lot of people, especially, is like it's that if you for those who know me and you've seen me on my mom's channel, or you've seen me in shows, or you've seen my channel and the content that I make, you will look at me and think he's such an extroverted guy. He's got a lot of energy and very outgoing and just very rambunctious and crazy and loudmouth and all that stuff. I'm very shy in person. So
he leaves that to his mother.
But a lot of people, like, when they would see me with off stage and without the costumes and the makeup and in a script, having memorized a script, they'd be like, "You do theater?
Yeah, well,
you're
that's not
a shy person."
I know, but that's not unusual. I think that most actors are introverts.
You would never know.
You know what I mean?
You would never know.
That's why I can't act. I just,
Would you ever want to do acting again?
I would never. Stage. No, well, I'd be the person.
I'm not saying you have to.
I'd be the person. Here'd be me in the background table. That'd be me. You know what I'm saying?
Doing your
spot on with the
quiet ad-libbing.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I would do a commercial. That's on my bucket list before I kick off. That I want to do a commercial.
Gotta find you an agent.
I don't know.
We've got to find you an agent.
We got to find both of us an agent.
Yeah.
It's not all about just, here in Connecticut. We're trying to, spread out to other territories.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, it's a lot of country in this country.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
A lot of states in
the country. A lot of states to go out to.
And perhaps even overseas. Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be great. One of your elements, obviously, is with Tank. That's one, what am I trying to say? One spot on the tree is, I guess, what I'm saying. You're branching out. It's one tree branch. Multiple flows of income. That's what I was going to say. So
yes.
One of your things is your business, for anybody that likes dinosaurs, has kids
or the
with
color
dinosaurs,
green, or both.
The color green.
It's a bonus.
And of course, you don't end with that. You're an actor, you're a stage actor, you've been in commercials, you've been in
I do some writing
TV,
as well.
you do writing,
character illustration.
Every Saturday until, did you know TikTok's going away on Saturday?
This coming Saturday?
I heard that. That's what I heard.
But I thought there was
No, I don't know. Somebody was saying it today. I'm like, whatever.
What is going on?
Nobody knows what's
going on. It's not. It's going. It's,
it's
please, I'm tired of the whiplash.
Like
is it going or is it not?
It's like by this time, it's like, whatever. I don't even care anymore. Yes, we all need agents.
Yeah, we did.
You know what I mean?
Greg,
I
think Greg, especially, I could totally see him doing like a Tony Robbins tour, and like just
Greg is very much a
motivational.
He's like a
motivational,
shaman.
a motivational speaker for people, like
Well, he is.
to go to a what are those
He is.
called?
You can't hold him down though.
Not a retreat.
Seminar.
That's
go to a seminar. Remember when we went to Tony Robbins?
I do. I remember going to was that Palm Beach or?
It was in Palm Beach.
It was Palm Beach, Florida.
100 years ago. That was good. And we saw Elise out there.
I know.
Totally unplanned.
I know.
Of course, she had better tickets than we did, but nonetheless,
we still had a great time.
Yeah, we did. It was great. Tony Robbins, been Tony Robbins for as long as I've been listening to him. But I've moved on to, I don't gravitate towards him so much anymore. It's like, as I've gotten older and things happen and, shit happens in life, I tend to gravitate more towards, spiritual, self-help, somewhat business. Not that Tony Robbins isn't. It's just he's not so much the spiritual side of, where I go. Some people, and that you say, people would say, I would never think of her being that way. You know how you said?
Yes.
People would never look at me and say, oh my God, she's so spiritual. She has such a belief in, in God and faith and that. And I always have. It's gotten bigger, I think, as time has gone on. But people would never think that. Because, I'll drop an F-bomb and all that stuff, but that doesn't mean I won't pray over you.
True that, Craig. True that.
What'd he say?
Shit definitely happens.
Oh my God, so much shit has happened. It's unbelievable. It's a blink.
I've said this before, I think in a previous live event I did. I think it was when you were on my recent TikTok live, which again, as stated before, I host TikTok live events every Saturday for 5 hours.
For 5 hours,
for roughly 5 hours.
The one 2 times ago was really
3 to 8.
When everybody, people don't want to jump. I mean, your friends. You had quite a bit of people. I was laughing at just the characters.
They're so funny. They're
oh my
so
God,
fucking talented.
You name it.
From
Elmer Fudd, Bugs Bunny,
Goofy.
It was
the best.
Really talented.
That was a lot of fun.
All the way over from England to the States, out of the country. That was fantastic. I enjoyed that. You know what I mean? I don't, I grew up playing sports. I mean, I could have people jump on and we could chit-chat sports, but, we lost out back in the day. I mean, so to speak, we can watch these newbies now and cheer them on. But, there were a lot of talented girls, now women, that I played sports with that never really got the acknowledgement. I mean, they were so good. They were as good. I think I told you without mentioning names. There was one girl that caused such a hassle in town because we didn't have a girls baseball team. She wanted to play baseball, and oh my God, they were against her playing, and it was a big thing. And so they finally came to the point where, let her try out, see how she does. And she smoked them and literally got to play in the league. But I'm like, how far we've come when you see, the women nowadays and
the professional leagues that
what they're able to. It's still not as much as the guys, and the league is growing, and it's grown. I'm looking forward to the Dallas Wings to see. Yeah, they got such an incredible. They got a freaking incredible roster. All the teams to watch. I mean, Connecticut Sun is totally going to rebuild from the ground.
Craig, I would love to have you on the live stream. Come on by on every Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, you should. Oh my God, it's so that. I
may or may not, depending on, especially last time, because it was mostly myself, and I was doing a lot of singing myself, and
that's because I said sing. Do something, do anything.
And some reading. I like doing reading. Reading is just very relaxing, and it's like doing a play.
You should read. They should. You should see if there's a thing there you can read to kids at the library. See if they have I don't know, they have a daycare at the local library, and you go and you donate your services for a couple of hours, and you just read to a group of kids that want to pick a book
voices, out. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be fun.
You should give them a call. I'm always thinking of things.
And shit for myself. That's another thing. Speaking of which, for business stuff, I don't think I've shared this. This happened after our last time that we had a live stream here on TikTok. Whatchamacallit? I'm looking currently to, I've been talking to a fair few people actually about,
A fair few?
Yeah, a fair few of,
really? Not in the 1920s? We back
making a tank puppet.
Yeah.
This Big Lug back here. I'm looking to make him like a hand puppet that I'd move around.
Well, I reached out to that guy Tony. What is his name? Tony.
I think he's.
I think Tony. It was. And the Carol, but I never heard back because that guy Tony used to do puppets 100 years ago from North Haven.
Yeah.
And then Carol has the husky puppet. JJ, the husky puppet.
Yeah, with the little sunglasses.
So I was hoping she'd get back, but somebody said she doesn't get on. Huh?
I'm just looking at Craig's comments as they're coming in. Dino reading.
A dino reading. Well, you'll be doing a book. How's your comic strip coming?
Good.
Yeah.
I'm working on it intermittently between raising a puppy and doing
marketing
and marketing and
going from inside potty training, which he did very well with that.
He did.
He
got the reins of it pretty quickly.
And now you got to say, now you got to go.
He's totally confused, and he's like, "What? What is this?"
And like I said, when you went downstairs, bring him downstairs, people are all of a sudden out all the time. So he's more interested in people talking and than to do his business.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And there's everyone I've said to my mother before, I was what you would call it. He's got puppets you can't show.
Wow.
I was telling you before, like, I came back in from one of the many trips that I took him outside, and I'm like, what, all of a sudden have people decided that the outdoors exist again? Because everybody's outside. Nice.
I know, never. Not around here.
I know. all the kids are which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. It's good to see that kids are actually going outside and playing.
Yeah, I know.
But
no, I know.
But it's just like when you're trying to potty train a dog, every little noise is like, oh, what is that?
Yeah, but he's been good. Yeah, that's why I laughed so hard. I got it. Oh my God, that's funny. Hey, he always says we're on the. I'm trying to think. Craig always says the rock. I'm forgetting what he says about the rock, about being on a meatball, floating around.
A volcanic meatball.
Volcanic meatball. That's it. And I'm thinking to myself, God, I wonder what Craig must think about the women going up in space. I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, what the frig? I don't really pay attention. The only thing I could say is, with all the shit going on, with women going backwards,
right?
Why are we doing that now?
There was a and I think
oh my God, all that money.
I think one of the, because I'm someone I have a lot of female friends. I have my mom, my grandmother too. And
what do they say?
So
volcanic meatball.
No, so I'm just like very supportive of women's rights and their health care and like in general just like equality for women. But I don't like that because there was a very negative overall negative reaction to all that happening. Yeah. And one of them said, it's because everyone's sexist. It's like, no ma'am. It's not because people are sexist. It has nothing to do with that. Look at what's happening to women on the planet.
But here's the thing, right?
That's what I'm going to say about that.
Being a comedian,
yes.
Okay, you have a set.
Right.
All right? And then, like I said, everything changes. They tried to open the door and they closed it. I know. The guy, he took a shitter in the ditch, and then they're probably, did you see that? He went down in the thing. And then they opened the door from the inside. I don't know. It was a photo op or whatever the hell it was. Why didn't they go to, I don't care if you're going up, right? I don't care. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't have a helmet on. You wouldn't have a freaking, some kind of, oxygen protection. Mask. Yeah, there's no G-force in that whatsoever. Like, even like a pilot would have a mask. The G-force, I don't know. It's something, to me, it was one of those things, what a waste of money. Yes. When so many people down here,
homeless.
Read the room.
Can't buy food.
Read the room. Yes. What he took a shitter in the ditch. Yeah, he did.
But
what was I going to say? Being a comedian, right? You go. Yes. You have your set. You come out on stage, right? And your set could change in a heartbeat simply because you're noticing the room, right?
Yes.
You're not gonna, don't upset read the room. Like, in other words, you know what's going on here. Why the hell would you, first of all, why would you go up there, to look at our beautiful planet in the middle of polluting the damn thing?
I know.
That's not empowering. That's stupidity.
So much CO2 put into the atmosphere that we don't need with everything right now.
I don't know. I don't even know if it happened. Who the hell knows?
Again,
we don't know. I don't care. I just think it's a waste of money.
For anyone viewing and hearing my thing, again, I will reiterate, I am very supportive of women's rights and women health care and the right to vote and anything, like equality for women. I am a firm believer of that. For all of my female friends, for my mom, my grandmother, I'm a firm advocate of women's rights. It's just, and I don't like that they are spinning it to be like, you don't like it because you're sexist. It's like, no, ma'am, I'm not sexist. No, that's nothing to do. There is so much else that is going on right now.
If everything wasn't going, if things weren't,
not necessary.
If women weren't going backwards, right, and they wanted to use that as empowerment down the road, then that would be one thing. When you're in a freaking dumpster fire, you don't jump above the dumpster. And,
I was just gonna say, we also talked about that as well. Where let's just say, like you and I were talking about, you had said, let's think if they took this trip a year ago or when Joe Biden was in office, and there might have been a different crowd reaction. But now with everything that's going on, there's just, that is not the thing that needs to be.
No,
that's not
and
the
I don't
focal
care.
point.
And my thing is, I don't care if you're a Trump lover, a Biden hater. I don't care. How we became opposite teams is ridiculous. We're freaking one country, but whatever. Do you? I'm friends with a lot of people that voted for him. I personally am from the day and age that women, certainly I didn't have it the worst. But I wouldn't say that I, enjoyed the climate for women back when. I would have been burned at a freaking stake. I would have. Because I would have had the big mouth.
You would have been Joan of Arc.
Yes.
For real.
Yes, I would have.
Joan of Arc.
Because it's not, I'd be like, listen, it's not fair, I mean, what do you mean? Now you're going to go back that you can't, if you have your husband's name, you can't freaking, yeah, that's why. Oh my God, you're not kidding. It's just ridiculous. I just don't want to go backwards.
No.
And I'm older, so for me, it's there's more time behind me than ahead, and I'm thinking of all the other little girls. Why should they have to, or little boys for that matter, teach your boys right too.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to learn just like the girls do. But girls shouldn't be second best. That's why I like seeing all the pig burning on the stage. Yeah, they would have been pouring shit on. Get something else! Throw it on! She hasn't burned enough. Be toasted like marshmallows over my hip.
The Wicker Woman.
Yeah, that'd be me. Get the marshmallows
You'd be oh God, you'd be like Nicolas Cage and the not the bees that would be
I because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. You know me. I mean, just going to recycling centers is a stressful event at times. You know what I'm saying? But it's always, and it's not like I love guys. I'm not blaming guys. I'm just saying, there's a different generation. My father, Pa wouldn't be like that. No. And he taught me everything I know. Can I use a hand drill? Yeah. Can I do everything a guy can do? Absolutely. I worked right alongside with him.
I was whatchamacallit. I was telling you the story. Oh, nice and crispy, nice and golden brown. Whatchamacallit?
Yeah, she tastes like chicken.
What was I gonna say? Oh,
I was talking about Pa.
Yes, you're talking about Pa.
And drills and what he taught me.
Right. I was telling you the story about the other day when I was telling you I saw that video of this guy who made this video where he was he asked the store, he went to a store to buy his niece a Barbie for her birthday.
Yeah.
And he goes to the store and he can't find it on the shelf, so he approaches an employee and he asks the employee, "Hey, do you have this Barbie? My niece is really looking for it and I'm looking to get it for her birthday." They go in the back and they find the last one in the back of the store. And the guy's like, "Oh, thank you so much." And this little girl runs up and is like, "Mommy, that's the one I want." And then the woman is basically, long story short, she basically starts off saying, like, "Can I have the Barbie from my daughter?" And he's like, "No, I'm getting it for my niece." And then it escalates into her trying to frame the guy of, like, making her daughter cry. And it's this whole thing, and he confronted her after she made a crowd assemble with her. Yet the
her
mother
daughter
yelling.
was playing a veruca.
Yes, exactly. But the mother was playing a veruca, and it's like, why do people just feel so entitled?
So it is.
Like, you're like, be a grown up, and that's basically what the guy said to the woman. He's like, that's not teaching your daughter how to be a what's the word I'm looking for? A respectable
human being.
Yeah, a respect, like basically, don't go through life thinking that you're owed something.
Right.
That you should get something because you want it.
A lot of people are like
that. Because
that's
just not how that works.
No, that's why I'm still around.
Because
I'm here to point that out to people. About you, Missy. Okay, Tuts?
But I guess my whole thing is me coming from Gen Z. Yes, I know Gen Z is a lot of people. It's like, well, you grew up in an age of technology, Spencer, and your generation, and that's what you knew. And I'm like, yes, I do. But I'm also someone who I grew up in a household where I was taught right, and I was taught that you work for things and that you will get things after you put in the time and the hours and the effort. That you're not just handed something on a silver platter.
No, you got to put the time in.
How,
but everybody.
But it's like, where did this come into being? Like, when did we suddenly think I'm owed something? Give it to me.
Well, because that's what people have allowed to happen. You're taught that. The thing is that look, I'm still going for it. At my age, Craig's still doing his thing at your age. The thing that we have, at our age is wisdom. And unfortunately, wisdom kicks you in the face about 1,000 times. That's why I look like I do. You're welcome. Anywho, it teaches you the lesson that hopefully you then pass along to somebody else.
Yes.
And say, don't,
especially those younger than you.
Yeah. That's what you want to do. You want to be able to teach the younger generation, not do it for them. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. We've got technology doing it for them.
God.
We've got everything.
We could talk about that too.
You got a freaking Stop and Shop, right? I always go to the line with the people that are at the registers.
With the person.
Why? We got 17 registers, probably even more.
That's not an exaggeration, by the way.
Only two was ever open.
Maybe there's even like over 20
Could be.
checkout
and then
lines.
the self-checkout.
And then it's like 6 self-checkout machines.
Yeah, and I always go to the ladies, or it's
there's
usually
only
ladies. It's usually lady my
or
age.
3, if you're lucky, of those 20-plus lanes that have a person.
Right. And I go to her just because I want to have the communication of talking. I don't want the automated line. Maybe if I had one item, I'd run through the thing.
If it was quick, then yes.
Yeah, but, you got Marty, the robot, most ridiculous thing I've ever saw. They're supposed to tell you if there's a spill on an aisle. Freaking thing follows me like it's a serial killer. Is it not always around me? I'm like, I'm gonna freaking
with the big googly eyes.
Yeah, I'm gonna throat punch Marty in the Stop and Shop aisle. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm like, I'll turn around, and look at him, and be like, get away from me. It's like always near me. It's ridiculous.
I was actually gonna. I think we've talked about this before, but it's worth repeating again. You save so much money at the self-checkout.
Yeah, you could if you only get a few things.
Right.
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 If you keep, I'd rather keep the person employed that, you know, and throat punch. I'll throat punch Marty. You don't even have a throat, and I'll find it. Two big freaking eyes on this thing and a smile. Eyes. It's like, I turn around, there he is, you freaking stalker. Kick him right off his wheels.
I was gonna say about
and there he goes.
I was gonna say about technology, because we were talking about nowadays. There's so much where people just get it instantly, the instant gratification thing.
Yeah.
I think one person called it an instant gratification monkey, like when it takes the wheel. Let me find the quickest and cheapest way to get what I want the fastest.
Yeah. See, but that doesn't, you don't learn anything by getting that. That's what I was saying before about our age.
Here, it's a different story, but, because back when you were in school, you had to actually pick out a book, read through the book, and get your information.
Encyclopedias.
When I was in school, the biggest challenge that teachers would have, and they would always tell students, especially when it came to writing an essay, which I get it, for anyone who's still in school, and like, I was in your shoes once. I did not like writing essays. It was just not fun. Yes, I had times when I would do it the night before and get it done, and how you hated me for that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But my point is, back when I was in school, the biggest thing that teachers always said is, we have plagiarism checks.
Can't tell he grew up in an Italian.
Yes.
He's got the red hair, but he grew up Italian, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Where they would say, we have a plagiarism checker where we will go through your paper, and if we find that you copied and pasted directly from an article online, we will find out. You have to cite your sources and blah, 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 blah. And that was the biggest worry and thing that we couldn't do.
Yeah.
And I think what I used was EasyBib when I was in school, just because it formatted it properly, because they graded even the citation format. It's like, what? So, but my point being, nowadays I look at like teachers and I look at students. I'm like,
you feeling cheated?
No,
just kidding.
No, not feeling. if anything, I'm like, how is anybody learning? Like,
they don't have to.
Because nowadays, I hate AI with a passion. It is the most stupid and pointless thing to exist. For anything healthcare related, absolutely 100% AI all the way. To help speed up research for any surgery or diagnosing any diseases that people may have, AI is totally understandable. Yeah. But when it comes,
they have AI in hospitals.
But now kids and anybody, when it comes to making artwork or especially writing any paper, ChatGPT, can you please write a paper about X, Y, and Z and make sure you talk about this? And it's like, I did my assignment.
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
don't you think?
What?
Don't you think in the long run that that's going to hurt them down the road?
I'm sure it will.
It's gonna. Of course it's going to.
But it's my whole point of bringing that up is like, that's not, having that tool at the disposal of children is not helpful. Because it enforces the idea of, I can get it as quickly as I want without having to put in the effort.
I agree, but I don't think you're going to
hurt you in the long run.
I don't think you're going to get rid of that. I don't think you're going to get rid of AI. I think that's going to become a thing. I don't think it's going to happen. You know what's going to happen?
I'm tired of the AI art.
It's already helping doctors and hospitals. You know what's going to be my luck?
What?
I'm going to go in, and here comes Marty the robot with a blood pressure cuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, beep, beep. Oh my God, yeah. I mean, that's what it's going to be. They'll diagnose you while you're, in the drive-thru.
Yeah,
right?
Pretty much.
They tried for a while, I swear to you. They may still have it around. They had drive-through funeral parlors.
What?
Yeah, they did. It was like they have the casket at a window. You would drive through, say your last, and then off you went. It's like, what do you pick up, a thing of bread after you say goodbye to neighbor Joe?
What?
Yeah, they did. Honest to God, they tried it for a while. I don't know if
oh God,
such a thing.
So
I have a hard enough time. I just don't understand any of that stuff. But yeah, no, everything's got to be fast, is what I'm saying. God forbid you got to go through and say something to the family. Nobody. That's the only time people get together anyway. It was like my cousin that passed away.
Yeah.
Okay, he was older. He died in an accident.
Crash.
Right. my God, the church was mobbed with people. It was just an overflow of people.
But that's something that you and I have talked about in the past too. It's like my mother and I. My mother always said this, and it stuck with me as I've grown up, and it just rang more true as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
Is if you didn't care about me when I was alive, why are you here now?
Yeah, that's
when
what
I'm
I said.
Dead,
that's why I ain't doing shit when I kick the bucket. Forget
but
it.
It's
Screw you.
But it speaks.
You couldn't be around when I was breathing air, same air as you.
It speaks volumes. Like, what is the? I guess the best word is fascination, because truly,
they want to see if you're dead.
I guarantee.
Because people forget.
75% of all the people that were there were they weren't in constant contact with your cousin.
No, exactly.
Which is
mostly,
just,
you know, and it's like, oh, well, they're there for the family. Listen, I lost Uncle Jimmy. He was 53. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, people just, life goes on. You know, and people just move on to what they do, and you know, they don't. Nobody touches base with anybody. It's like people just go in opposite directions. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. It's almost like you think, geez, was he really alive? Did that really happen?
Yes.
You know, like that kind of thing.
Right.
But that's why when I went to the reunion, it was nice to see his class. Mm-hmm. And talk to the people that were there at the reunion. You know, they had a memorial thing.
You knew more of his class than
you
did your own.
Know. Yes, I did. Well, people change so much too. Like I couldn't.
And
I had no freaking clue what half the people were.
As a matter of fact, they just to make, because you didn't really want to go to that reunion.
I did not
want
to go to that reunion.
But you went. But on top of all that, when you took your name tag, you purposely put it on upside down.
I did put it upside down.
Just so people would recognize you without having to read your name tag.
And then I stole an idea from one of the girls. It's Eddie, I won't say his last name, but he was in my class, great guy. And lives right down the street, so you'll know who it is. His girlfriend, at the time, she had her tag. She was not in our class, but you had to put a name tag on.
Yes.
So I felt like she overdid me because she had, you know, she had like this low cut, such a nice girl. She really was, right? Nice. So she's showing me up. You know what I mean? But she put her name tag like over her nipple. So I had to go back for another name tag. I had 2 name tags on my nipple. So I went in my scrubs. That's how exciting that was. But, you know, it's one of those things, and you'll find out as time goes on. I'll be long since gone, and, you know, we've already chit-chatted about such things. You know, it sucks. I mean, you know, not to be morbid.
Well,
but, you know, it's one of those things, I don't want any of that. Because nobody's around. So why should you... Really?
To think, because I, speaking of class reunions, I've thought about this a few times, a lot, especially when we go past my old high school.
Let me say something. Let me say something, because you know me, I'll forget it.
Go ahead.
There was a woman that died in North Haven.
Yes.
Right? And she was, your great-grandmother knew her. So it goes to show you that she was, you know, she was older when Nanny was alive, but not that old. Yes. You know what I mean? Because she died when she was 90-something. And so anyway, she said she had in the paper that since no man took me out while I was alive, I want 6 female pallbearers. They'll be the ones to bury me. And I'm thinking, isn't that something?
Yeah, no, that's... I do remember that now.
Right? And I was like, Shabinga! You know, she got like the last like in the paper. I was like, wow, that's nice. I you know, make a funny write-up. That's what I would do. I was going to at one time, not do anything and have one eye open and then have like a machine in the background. Say like, somebody knelt. Hey, how's it going? How you doing? But, whatever. Anyway, go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
Well, I was just going to quickly say that every time we go by the high school, now and then I'll get this reminder of it's 2025, and I'm like, man, just think, 3 years from now, it'll be 10 years since I graduated high school. 10 years.
You going to go?
I don't know.
To your reunion?
I don't know. I see what happens.
If
in
you
that
have
time.
if you really have a nice head of hair still, I'd go. You'd be shocked. See, I never had hair, so it doesn't
hopefully,
matter.
hopefully, it all stays good. Everyone stays happy.
Because then you'll
healthy
go and you'll go,
in the
holy
meantime.
crap! Look at all them. Honest to God, half the people. First of all, they didn't know who I was because I had 2 nipple tags on with my name upside down, and then the other, a lot of the people just changed so much. I was like, holy cow. I didn't even remember names because then people got married and you're like, ah, shit.
Sorry,
I got to get the hell out of here. What's up?
I was reading Craig's comment real quick that Marty might be better than the nurse that ripped out his catheter by mistake.
Oh! Yeah, maybe he would. He goes low. He likes those hand puppets. Marty, clean up. Oh my God, that stupid ass thing. Honest to God. I thought that would be like a one and done deal, like they'd try that Marty for a little bit.
No, then they would get rid of it.
And what happened? I shot.
It is a pain in the butt.
So what happened to like, here's one. What happened to green bananas?
Oh,
Every banana.
I know, they're all yellow now.
It's all ripened.
There's no green, but like
Right.
no, before they're perfectly ripened to give some time. Now they're all ripe immediately, starting to.
Yeah,
It's
like this is starting to brown. I'm like, wow, this like you
That's
can't
bad.
find. You can find anything in the freaking snack aisle, which I don't.
God.
I don't eat any of that shit as I've gotten
Excuse
older.
me, would you like 50 different brands of one particular
That's what
item?
I tried to explain. That Stop and Shop 100 years ago was much smaller. We didn't have 40,000 cookies of every style, and Oreos are ridiculous. They got birthday flavor. I'm like, oh
Mocha,
my God.
pumpkin, birthday cake,
I'd be like,
vanilla,
if I had a little
chocolate,
kid, I'd be
mint,
like,
dark chocolate.
no, you're not getting that. Forget it. It's ridiculous.
So many things. There's too much.
I got the dog. I get the dog, the puppy, baby, because they wanted him to try like a fruit of some sort. So I got baby blueberries with apples. Right? He was doing pumpkin for a little while, so now he's moved up to blueberries and apples. Like having a
Well, he did have apples and blueberries. Now he's been having pears and blueberries.
Oh, pears and that's right. I was standing behind the lady with the carton. Oh my God! I was like,
Hi, Diane.
I was like, holy shit! Look at all the freaking baby food jars. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, but you can't get a freaking chicken thing or whatever. You can't find certain things. It's like, what the frig? I hate shopping. It's ridiculous. Between trying to find the food to, trying to go through the checkout,
Yeah,
and you got that one lady that's always yelling, I'll help anybody. Anybody needs help. I'll help. I'm over here. I'm like,
I appreciate her enthusiasm.
she's very
every single
enthusiastic.
week.
She is very enthusiastic. God bless her.
Yeah, very.
I always say hi to her. Nope, you can hear her wherever you are. Her and
Bye,
Craig.
It's good to see you.
Love you right back, Chief.
See you later.
Keep kicking. 75 hard.
75 hard.
Yeah, he's doing great. God, that guy's incredible. I just love to hear him.
Real trooper.
Yeah, I love to hear him. His words of wisdom. Because as you get older, that's what you have. But it's like I said, it's called, unfortunately, gut punches because along the way, life kicks you, and you have to find the next reason to move. To the next day, and you learn that as you go along. You always think that somebody else, social media takes things, that's a whole nother thing. For one day, they had the cast of The Breakfast Club. I think I sent it over to you, right? They just met up wherever the hell they were, probably with those ComCons or whatever the hell it's called.
Yes.
And they had, a whole thing, and they're like, well, what did you think about the 80s? What did you think about the 80s?
Radical
and
time.
What would you want to change today? Now, they all have kids, or, some of them do in the cast. And what would you like to change? And every single one of them said, cell phones, social media, take it away. as great as it is to go wherever.
You showed me that video.
Yeah, as great as it is, it's also a deterrent to other things. I think
it's harmful.
Yeah.
I always say cell phones. It's incredible how they are able to connect so many people from all across the world.
Peace out.
From all across the world, but at the same time divide people. Like, you're able to connect with someone over in Europe, but the person sitting right next to you, I don't see you.
It's like I told you. I mean, that drives me nuts. It drives me nuts.
What?
That everybody's on, I don't want to say everybody because I sound like an old, but the problem with cell phones is nobody communicates. You can't even communicate at like going through and getting like a coffee. People hand out the bag, I'm always thank you this, thank you that.
No,
nothing. Here comes the bag. Here comes the coffee.
I can't stand that either.
Nobody talks.
Especially the times when they'll have their back towards the window. Shine bright. When they have their back towards, like, purposely towards the window in the interim.
Yeah.
So they don't have to look at you.
They don't have to acknowledge you, nothing.
Pretend you don't exist. And
so
then they just shove the bag in your face.
What are we gonna do for the future? What's the future gonna be if people can't learn to communicate?
Oh my God. I just saw, speaking of the future, do you know what's super crazy? I just recently saw a TV show that I watched when I was growing up. I stumbled upon an episode, and in that particular episode, they time traveled, because at the time the show took place in 2005, and they time traveled to 2025, and it's just so funny to look at what. It's always the hindsight kind of thing. It was like what they thought the world would look like in 2025, and I'm like, it doesn't look like that. We don't have that. But at the same time, there are also things like, well, technically we have that, but it doesn't look like super high tech and all these flashing things. But
what would make your life better? Like they said, like the Jetsons. Okay, remember that?
What would make my life better?
What would you like to see? Flying cars? People can't even drive.
That's my whole thing. It's like, flying cars would be cool, but people can't drive to begin with.
We want to colonize Mars when we can't even take care of this planet?
No,
I mean, do you want to take a joyride to Mars?
Me? No. I'm
not
cut out for that.
But here's the thing: I'll take any of the planet. It's like I said, even with Titanic, leave the freaking thing alone.
I mean, if I want to see Mars, I'll look it up on my phone.
They got freaking 3D pictures of the Titanic, of every option, of what happened. It's cool to look at, but leave it alone.
Yeah,
it's a burial site now.
I know.
You know what I mean? Just leave it alone. Speaking of that, speaking of all this morbid stuff that we've been talking about, I have to talk about one thing, and one more thing, and then I'll have you go through your stuff. Hopefully people will hit your Etsy page. And
coming up soon.
Did you happen to see the funeral? There's two things going on. There's a guy who's a grave digger. Mm-hmm. Okay? I forget where it was, but doesn't matter. He was asked by the guy that runs the cemetery.
Right.
He says, we dug the grave. We got to move this casket is tilted. We have to move it over before the casket goes down. Something like that. It was crooked. Okay,
right.
I'm not saying the story exactly.
Scared to see where this is going.
So he says we have to move it over a little. Because it's when it goes into the crypt,
it won't.
It's not. It's going to crook it itself. So the kid said, he recently got fired too, because he kind of put a story out on it that the two of them were able to move the casket with both, by the two of them.
Right.
And he said to the guy, "Why is this casket so light?" And he said, "Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to." And so the kid got freaked out, and he still doesn't know what the hell's going on, other than he did get fired from wherever. So, I told you, like, years from now, they're not going to have. I told you,
Good
nanny,
Lord.
like nannies, it seems like her thing started off
You're-
somewhere else.
yeah,
And everything's way too lined up. It wasn't like that before. But here's my last story, and then you can go on to the
Yes.
to the good stuff that's not morbid. Was the
So we talk about on here.
the funeral was the guys the pallbearers were carrying the casket, and around the grave they're putting it on the stand, and the grave collapsed and they all fell in. Some went in on the
You
cat.
showed me that.
Yeah, what are your thoughts about that?
What do you mean? What are my thoughts about? That's horrific. It's just.
Can you imagine that?
It's
So,
just-
they really got hurt.
Well,
So-
it's. I would not in any way blame the pallbearers because
Oh, no, it wasn't their fault.
It's not their fault.
The earth
it's
gave way.
Totally like.
I'm just letting pallbearers know down the road.
Just it was just. I wouldn't say it was like terrifying and scary, but it's just like, oh my God, here we are to pay respects to our family member, and like that's not something you want to have happen
They
for
fell,
anybody involved.
They fell right in the ditch.
It's
I mean,
just-
holy shit. Can you imagine? You know, one guy fell on top of him.
I thought like it fell
He-
first and they fell
No,
on
he
top.
fell like underneath it and like got jammed in there. They had to like
Jeez.
really yank him out. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's horrific. But that's enough of my horrific stuff. Let's
Yeah,
talk about his business, about this
Yay.
guy behind us
Yay,
called
good.
Tank.
Perfect segue. Perfect segue.
From death to life. Let's talk about fun stuff. Go ahead.
My name is, let's start from the top. My name is Spencer Long. I'm the owner of Tyrannosaurus Studios. This big guy behind me is Tank the T-Rex. He's my company mascot and emotional support dinosaur. I am a graphic designer. I'm a character illustrator. I'm a voice actor. So any projects that you need for web design, branding design, logo design, business cards, resumes, any merchandise that you may have. I do product design as well. I also do voice acting for film, TV, and video games. And even if you have a business and you need a voicemail done, then let me know. I'd be happy to record one for you. And I also do, as I said, character illustrations. So a lot of animated characters you will find with me.
Tell them about
I
your
also have-
Saturday thing.
Yes, I have a live stream that I host over on my TikTok channel, Spencer Long. So if you aren't following me over there, then go ahead and hop onto TikTok and look me up, Spencer Long, and toss me a follow. And every single Saturday, I hold a live event for 5 hours,
might be
3
your
p.m.
last Saturday.
EST, and I said EST, I should say Eastern Standard Time. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And just
a lot of fun.
Have fun and talk.
Actors, voice actors,
yeah,
producers,
a lot of,
directors,
a lot of people
stage
in
production, theater
Yes.
people.
a lot of people in the arts and that field of work I have on my show, and we chit chat and we talk. So come on over and check us out and hang out in the audience and have some fun over there. I have a plethora of merchandise that I have for sale. I'll speed through them real quick. Item number 1 are the Sublimation Crew Socks, which are one of the newest additions to the store. I love this. So if you're going out to a fancy dinner party or any formal gathering, then these might be right up your alley to really wow your friends.
Sorry.
Are you the hype woman over there with the thumbs
How am I-
up?
how am I
Thank you.
doing?
Doing fantastic. Love the thumbs up. This is also one of the newest additions, the Tank Loves Me tee, which is for kids. Don't worry, I do have things that are available for adults, because
The dog
I love it. Yeah, I know. It's perfect for puppies as well. Kids or puppies can wear them.
I'll be wearing in the parade.
Yeah,
Memorial Day.
that'll be next month, 26th of May. Tyrannosaurus Studios will be debuting in the Memorial Day Parade in North Haven, so we'll be there. We'll be there if you can watch us on TV or come down to the green and see us go by.
We'll see I'll do the Queensway.
The kids' shirts come in extra small to extra large, so if you have a kid that loves dinosaurs or the color green, then perfect. I have the dad caps, which come in these pretty snazzy camo colors. Perfect way to keep yourself shaded in the sun, especially with springtime coming finally here and the sun is finally shining, getting warmer out. Be perfect for when you're going out doing work or going out and any outdoor activities. Good to keep you warm, cool, and shaded there. I've got the Books Are the Best Kind of Brain Food bookmarks. These are aluminum, so a lot more durable than paper ones are. So if you're an avid book reader, you're a bookworm, then you might love these. These might be right up your alley.
Great birthday gifts. Holidays.
And
it's a little too late for Easter. Happy, it's Good Friday today.
Yeah, happy Good Friday, everybody. These are my personal favorites. I Need My Fossil Fuel mugs. These are for all my coffee fans out there, your tea drinkers, hot chocolate fans.
Coffee.
These are perfect and right up your alley. This is an 11-ounce mug. I also have them in 15 ounces as well, just in case you need a little extra caffeine to get yourself going in the morning. Or contact... or, these are an exclusive item. These are the Tyrannosaurus Studios lanyards. Thank you, Vanna White. These are an exclusive item. Just because you won't find these on the Etsy store, you'll have to reach out either to myself or my mother directly.
Reach out to me. I'll drive it right over here.
These are $12. So
I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
You are.
I'll be more than happy to drive it over.
Late hours in the night.
Put the coffee on.
These are great if you're someone who needs help finding your keys, because I know that sometimes they get lost in the clutter and the daily chaos in our houses, so perfect. And also, can't show the entirety of this, but you will be you'll be eligible after each purchase to get 20% off your next purchase, or if you give it to a friend or a family member, someone that loves dinosaurs. Any merch comes with a coupon that gives them 20% off in case they want a little extra green in their wardrobe or memorabilia of dinosaurs, then they'll get extra 20% off, and 20% off they can send over to another friend. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
That's right.
All of these can be found on my Etsy store at etsy.com/shop/TanksTerrific Threads. That's TanksTerrific Threads. Tanks Terrific Threads.
And remember, if you want a lanyard, I'll drive it over at 2. Just put the coffee on, have the Entenmann's with the knife already in the box, like we used to do in the old day, It stayed in the box until you got to the very end piece, then you wash the knife. That's how it was. So I'll drive it over. Anywho. Anything else you do in your comics?
Yes, I am.
Strip?
Working hard.
Working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Barely getting by. Anywho.
Okay, so you're doing your next show.
That's it.
Nah, it's okay. I'll go ahead and I'll tell them. I'll find an agent to have you do that show.
We have more updates next month. Come see. When is the parade? When is the actual parade?
I just said the 26th.
26th?
26th of May.
I was probably too busy pointing out.
Busy Vanna Whiting all the products.
Got to do that. Even her, I notice, she's my age.
Yeah.
So she's way at the board. She looks really good from far away. I do too, about 1.5 miles. You could wave at me, I look perfect. You get close and
you're brutal.
It's just,
brutal.
It's just shit show. What can I tell you? As you get older. It's not for the weak, I'll tell you that. Believe me, I know. I'm nauseous every time I go by a mirror. Anywho, anything else to say?
No, I think that's about it.
Listen,
feel free to follow me on social media. My Instagram is Spencer_Long. TikTok is Spencer Long. Follow me on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, but not totally active on Facebook, but I am there.
It's an old farts channel like
what
me.
should we call it? I'm on YouTube as well. Spencer Long VA. You can find me out
Instagram. You're on everything.
Instagram,
YouTube.
TikTok, YouTube.
I'm on YouTube. I'm
LinkedIn.
starting to put everything over onto YouTube because TikTok's going away. I don't really give a shit. It can all go away. I'll talk to myself. Done it before. It's all right. It's all good. See, somebody gave you a thumbs up. Talk to yourself. We've always done that in the past. What the hell? Pick up a phone and call somebody. Have communication. Make sure you keep your mental health on check. And don't listen to a lot of news, because there's a lot of shit going around. You don't need to hear it. You know what I mean? You got one life to live. Live it the best you can. Be kind to people, good to others. Take care of your neighbors. And know for sure that we, with the hope of God, will be back here next month with new updates.
Lots of news.
Okay? So stay well. Bye for now.
Bye.
Say hi to Marty at Stop and Shop. Throat punch.
Bye.